Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I have a Diet Coke here. I'm ready to go. Hopefully you are too. Today we're going to look at some recent trades and talk about why I like red days. There are things to hate about red days, but there are also things to like and how to use them to your advantage. Especially as an option seller, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. That way you don't miss any videos in the future. If you want to learn more about selling options and the basics and how you can make money doing so, I have an affordable course. It's linked in the description, and you want to help out the channel, go check that out. I keep an eye on Yahoo Finance throughout the day, and right at the start of the day, it looked like things were going red. We had Jerome Powell give some negative sentiment towards the overall economy. I think this article is kind of funny. U.S. stocks tumbled on Wednesday as investors were reminded of the costs President Trump's tariffs will have for major companies and the challenges these policies may present for the broader U.S. economy. Excuse me, this happened how long ago? They needed reminded that these tariffs will have effects? I don't understand. How could you forget this? They need reminded. That's just wild. But if you watched my last few videos, you knew that I have sold some covered calls on Robinhood stock, and I sold them at an unfortunate time because I sold them and then all of a sudden Robinhood took off $44, $45 a share. And so some of the covered calls that I sold that I thought were pretty far out of the money and a low enough delta that these will never become in the money, I was proved wrong because they were pretty deep in the money a few days ago. But now, even my lowest, my $41 strike call is now out of the money. And these are times when you love red days because you sell covered calls. What do you want them to do? You want them to depreciate over time. It's not like a typical asset where you want it to appreciate in value. When you sell a call, you sell it for some kind of value. So maybe $100, just for our example's sake. And then if it goes all the way down to $25, it depreciates to $25. You love that because if you want, you can close your position, get your collateral back, i.e. your 100 shares, and wait for the next opportunity to sell another call. So you'll buy it back for $25. Your net premium that you made because you bought it back is $75 that's in your pocket. And long story short, that's why you like red days, because when you sell a call and then things go down, you can take a look at your position and you can say, okay, am I wanting to buy this back, or do I think it's going to continue to remain down by the time my expiration comes along? And then aside from that, you can also look at the opposite, which is selling puts. So when things go down, the same strike price puts typically go up in value because they're getting closer to being in the money. So a couple puts that I ended up selling, I sold this one $10 SoFi put, and I got an average credit of $17 from selling this put. It's currently at $22, so it's $5 more than I originally sold it for. But this one expires next Friday. It's a $10 strike. I also sold a $9.50 put. This one I made $12, and it's still currently worth $12 per put. I also mentioned in my last video that my goal this week, though it wasn't really a lofty goal, I guess, was to make $50 a day in premium. And so far that's been pretty easy, especially when you're selling calls on the SPY, and then you're also selling your typical options in my Robinhood portfolio. With these 4 trades that we see right here in my spreadsheet that I use to keep track of all of these, I made $149 today in premium. It's a combination of selling covered calls on SoFi, selling a put on SoFi at 2 different strike prices, and then also selling a covered call on the SPY, which as right now, this covered call is also out of the money. Of course, we're going to have to see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow is the last trading day of the week, so options actually expire on a Thursday rather than a Friday. And I also mentioned this last video, I think next week I'm going to form another challenge for myself, and that is to try to make $100 a day selling options. 50 was, I think, too little, especially with how volatile things have been. It's pretty easy to get high premiums. So $100 might be a better challenge for myself. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always excited to hear from you, and I hope to see you in a future video.